Hello everybody, this is Le Minimum Lovable Product. I am Marco Lanzi and I'm about to bring you behind the scenes of building digital experiences that people will love. In the episode of today, Osvaldo Spadano, CEO at Akoova, a leading hosting company in Magento, is going to explain us what is knowledge hosting, how you start a hosting company, and what is an e-commerce activist. Let's welcome Osvaldo. Welcome to Le MLVP. We are here today with Osvaldo Spadano, so e-commerce activist and CEO at Akoova. So welcome, Osvaldo.
Hi, thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So Akoova, what is it that you guys do?
Okay, so first of all, let's make life a little bit easier for the audience. My name is Osvaldo, but you can call me Ozzy. For many people, can be a bit difficult to pronounce my name, so Ozzy, it's easier. So Akoova provides fully managed cloud hosting for Magento to supreme brands and retailers who are serious about e-commerce. It's more than just hosting, and we call it K hosting. That's the name we gave it to it.
What is the K hosting?
Well, the K, well, in Akoova, one of the letters is the K, and that's highlighted. And K stands for knowledge, know-how, and knowledge.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
So how did it all start? Did you woke up one day, say, I want to host websites, or what happened?
Yeah, because it's such an exciting thing, isn't it? Well, I must say, it is probably one of those. I would classify this business as a boring business. It's one of those. It's boring. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. It's not blockchain. For sure, it's not AI. Why did I start? Well, this is not my first startup. This is my fourth one. And to be honest with you, I wasn't planning to do another startup because it can be, it's quite hard. It's really takes lots of energy to do these kind of things. But I was compelled. I almost felt the need to do it. And I think that came out of my own pure frustration. Yeah, the idea came out when I was CTO at Yoox. Then it became very clear when I was CTO at another company, fashion company as well, Alex and Alexa, a bit like Net-a-Porter for the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. At Yoox, Yoox is a kind of complex organization in that people know it as the multi-brand retailer, Yoox.com, for example. But a good part of their business come from what they call mono-brand as well. They provide a fully managed service to other fashion brands like, I don't know, Marni, Diesel, Armani, and many others. And that's more like, providing everything from the technology platform to photography, inbound, outbound, logistics, and all that kind of things. And at that time, I was basically trying to help the company to make sense of these two businesses, which were quite different, and they needed to be operating differently, and they also needed different technology. So I was building a kind of SaaS platform for them based on Magento. And that's where we needed to do things at scale, and therefore was already thinking about cloud and all these kind of things. And I was already looking around, although there was the kind of early days of a proof of concept, and I was seeing that it was already difficult to find really good hosting provider for Magento. I was already into Magento a little bit because I've used it in my previous company as a startup for a kind of niche a retailer or multi-niche retailer. And unfortunately, at that point, Magento was acquired by eBay, so we couldn't go ahead with that specific project because eBay was somehow competitor of Yoox through GSI Commerce that eBay acquired. So there was a bit of a tricky situation. Anyway, I went then on to Alex and Alexa a few years later here in London, and they were also using Magento. And I had a pretty horrifying experience on my first month. I started in around end of November, December. I asked everyone if everything was fine. and they say, yeah, everything's fine, we can scale. We managed to do things last summer, was all good. So I trusted the team and everyone else. And I remember, was it 26th of December, the sales email goes out, big discounts, and the site just went down for 3 days.
Ready, go, holiday season, everything down.
There was, I must say, there was the most horrifying experience in my career. And that's, I'm pretty old now, so I've been around for quite a while. It was the most frustrating things, and obviously, sorting these kind of things out became a priority for me as a CTO of the company. Anyway, that experience, to cut it short, I was looking for something myself as someone that could manage the whole technical operation of the site, and at the end I couldn't find it. I signed up with a company, it didn't go very well. At the end, I had to do everything in house. I wanted to outsource it, but I couldn't. I had the budget, I had the money. There wasn't the problem. I just couldn't find the right partner. And although the kind of things were my bread and butter, the things I knew how to do very well, but I didn't want to do it because when you're a CTO of an online retailer in fashion, you got so many other things to think about
Yes.
and to deliver. You look behind and you see the roadmap and it's like, oh my gosh, how do I do all of this? So you're trying to outsource and delegate what you can. And although obviously these kind of things like hosting Magento, for example, is mission critical, it doesn't really need me as a CTO to do those things. Could I do it? Yes. Should I do it? Not. um, and it was a frustrating experience. At the end, I ended up, just giving lots of money to the usual suspects, hosting provider, not really doing a great job, and I had to hire my own team of DevOps, SysOps, and all these kind of things. And they got me to scratch my head. It was like, my gosh, what a frustrating experience, and time consuming, costing lots of money and time. But the most frustrating things for me was that it took so much time that they had a knock-on effect on other things. It was the opportunity cost. That was the key things. The fact that I had to postpone a project or kill a project. We had to open in Saudi Arabia. We couldn't do it. We had to postpone it to the next year. Those were the most frustrating things for them. And I was thinking, what other people do? What other retailers do? And, I thought I was a fairly competent CTO and I could manage the situation. How do the other people manage it? And so that's when idea started in 2013. I was very frustrated, and I thought, and then I got back in touch with my partner Zach, who worked with me at the previous company, Vendor. It was one of the first SaaS e-commerce platform back then. And we looked at each other.
I work on it like many years ago.
Have you really?
Yeah. It was I think Playtex or something. I was doing some consulting for them. I think
Interesting.
we were using it. I didn't know it was yours.
Yes, and we looked at each other and said, well, we can do much better job than what the industry is doing. The industry, we thought, has set the bar so low, it's unbelievable. And I spent a few days looking at, in a British library to see, did I miss something here? And what was interesting that when I looked at other industries like content management system, the solutions were there. So if you use Drupal back then, or even today, if you use Drupal, the open source content management system, you can use companies such as Akoova that they can look after the technical operations. If you use WordPress, for example, classic, you can use WP Engine, for example. They do a fairly good job at what they do. So the options are there. But when in e-commerce, you're using Magento, yeah, good luck with that. And that's more in the kind of micro level. In the macro level, kind of high level, I also saw that there was a gap in the market. So there was a gap clearly within the Magento ecosystem. There was a pain point that I've seen other retailers were sharing, and in a way, but also there was a bigger pain point because when you look at the market, you and today as well, typically you have this kind of two extremes of the spectrum. You either have SaaS software or SaaS solutions. Vendor was one of them. Nowadays, Demandware, Salesforce Commerce, so Shopify, BigCommerce, and all these kind of things. Or you do the opposite of that, which is almost kind of DIY, do it yourself. You get a platform like Hybris or like Magento or whatever, PrestaShop or many others, and you have to do everything by yourself. Now, each approach has pros and cons, as you can imagine. And actually, I've observed some retailers moving from one to another and then back to it. Clearly, they were not totally happy. There was something missing, either here or there. And there was one observation I made, and I thought, why can't we build something which is the best of both? Something that provides the pros of a SaaS platform in terms of how it is operated, cost predictability, being cheaper to run in a way, but also more being better at what it does, and at the same time provide the retailers which what they really want nowadays, which wasn't very clear 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that is retailers want to really own the experience. They
Yes.
want to own not only the user experience. When I say experience, there is so much more in the experience, even in back-end type of things, ERP, all the things that creates the experience from the checkout down to the delivery to the last mile experience.
There
All
is
of it
the
is important.
Yeah, no, there is the consumer experience, but there is the business user experience that for a retail company it's like key, like how your employees like are able actually to play with those tools and what's the experience with the tools. It's not just like, hey, you got it, play with it. It's how effective am I using it? How easy it is.
Absolutely. That's also is a key thing, because this is what makes a company efficient or non-efficient. If the company is efficient, that translates in good user experience,
Yeah,
right? If you can manage your stock well, that's important.
yeah,
Um, and therefore we thought, if we can provide a solution that takes care of the hosting and the technical operation in general, so that the business can do the other things pretty well while maintaining ownership of the essential things for them, I think that's a
okay.
win-win.
Yeah, agree. 100% agree. And let me ask you one thing, because when you were describing like your journey, how you got actually to then creating Akoova, and say like you started from a real need, frustration, say like, hey, why these things are not working? So you've been bouncing back and forth. And say your fourth startup, you've been CTO of company like Yoox and Alex and Alexa. So being an entrepreneur versus working for a bigger company, for big companies, uh, what is common, what is different between these two words, as you have done both sides of the barrier?
Okay, what's common? What's common is that, well, the common things is every business, doesn't matter how big they are, they exist to solve problems.
Yeah.
That's the essence of the business. They exist to solve problems. Whether that's they do it through a service or through a product, that's what it is. And everyone in the business, when they wake up in the morning, they probably don't know, or they do it unconsciously, but they are solving a problem. Whether that's the board director, non-exec people sitting on the board, they are solving a problem. Maybe at the most strategic level, but they're problem solving somehow. Down to anyone, customer service representative, they're solving problems for their customers. IT people, they're solving problems for end customer or internal customers, whatever. Everyone is solving a problem. So that's a common thing. Okay. Um, what else? So problem solving
What's
is
the,
the essence of everything.
I
Okay.
agree. So serving a needs customer, as you said, product or service, that's definitely something that big company or a startup are definitely there. There are startups that maybe didn't get the needs right, then they don't exist anymore. But that's another story. But I agree with you. Like serving a needs is the whatever you are a entrepreneur
Number
or
one.
like working a company, you're solving someone problem. Now the question is, when you're working a company as an employee or you are an entrepreneur, what is difference? What is
You know what? I don't see much of a difference. The way I behave, the way I work hasn't changed. Um, I worked as hard as I work today as I was when I was CTO of a company. Actually, sometime I think as an employee I worked even harder.
okay?
um, and So nothing really changes that. In terms of focus and problem solving, is the same. The difference is is to do with organization. First of
Okay.
all, is I don't because I'm the CEO now. I don't have to convince a number of people before we can decide to do something, right? Which is a, a good positive thing. Obviously, there can be side effect on that as well, because you might end up believing whatever you believe, and if you don't get much pushback, you might be doing the wrong thing. So that's a dangerous thing as well. However, I think the key thing is, which I observe as everyone solves problems. The problem with big companies or growing companies is it's what is I call the big company disease. Okay, let's explain a little bit. So everyone solves problems, but when you're a startup, you can focus on the problem. You can focus on the value adding activities. Okay? When you start working in a big corporation, there are new angles, there are new dimensions. There is the organization, the number of people, there is complexity, there is bureaucracy, might be politics, maybe different priorities. Department, has priority A, B, C. The other departments go X, Y, Z, and they're not aligned. That's a classic. So there is all of this. Now, what happens is they're still trying to solve a problem, but it becomes more difficult, sometimes more frustrating to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. And the reason for that is because there are more non-value added activities taking place, which I refer to as waste. Okay, call it waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy. It's waste. Now, some people are aware of it, and those are the people that typically really gets frustrated. Why are we wasting so much time in meetings, this and that? We're not making any progress. And then there are those who are totally happy with it. It's just, that's how life is, and they just accept it as a matter of life. Maybe um, yeah, that's it. So and that's the real difference. So to be honest with you, when I was in bigger company, I must say I worked hard and so on, but very often I found myself working hard to change things, not to
Okay.
do my job, but to change things. Sometimes I found myself not to be a CTO, but very often to be a psychiatric, um, and trying to talk to people, change behavior, and all these kind of things. Trying to influence people to do things better, and more collaboratively and so on. But going back to the big company disease, typically, obviously I'm generalizing, but typically what happens there, companies scales up and they start going back to what you said, they start losing touch with their customer. It's a classic. That's what happens. What they do, they start putting layers and layers and layers
Yeah.
of professional managers, and with them comes the stiffness of modern management. And as I said, they start focusing on non-value adding activities rather than value adding activities. Therefore, they start introducing waste. Okay, and as companies get bigger and bigger, either sometimes they're private equity owned or maybe the public companies, there is an obsession about either valuation or quarterly results, and that's not good for anyone, to be
Yeah,
honest with
no,
you.
no, no, 100% agree, and thanks a lot for sharing. I think you describe really well, like what is it working in the two words, and actually how it changed. the point is you need to work hard on both of them. And I think that the work ethic doesn't change if you are an entrepreneur or you are like within a company, you're an entrepreneur of yourself. At the end of the day, you maybe have to fight different problems. That's what get people frustrated, because as you say, you can see waste and you want to change. In companies which are newer, the waste is just not existing yet. But when they will grow, unless like you're really good at keeping it super lean, those kind of problem goes there, as you said, because you start to losing touch with the customer. So
Yeah, I mean, you can produce also waste in startups as well. I mean, the
yeah,
classic waste is you solving the wrong problem.
yeah,
So,
no, I think that the problem you guys are solving, I think, is really true. Many people go through it, so that's definitely a real need.
well, but even that, it's again, when I had this problem, it was almost so obvious. It was screaming in front of me on my face. It was clear. But even that, I didn't take that for granted. I didn't just start straight away. Actually, what I did, I thought, what because I'm an experienced CTO, what if I was too fussy, bit too difficult in what I was looking for? Maybe I set the bar too high. Maybe I was being difficult and awkward. Maybe. So what I did actually before starting Akoova, I actually went out and looked for a retailer who was having a problem. I found one retailer and then I started talking to them and then they start sharing their pain. And to be honest with you, they were not even aware profoundly of their problem. They had a sense that they had a problem. And then I started helping them out, okay, to get a bit deeper. And I thought, yeah, they're having exactly the same problem. Actually, it's even worse. They don't even see it. And then, I worked for a month or so and, I helped them out and fixed lots of things. And was very, very interesting to see what happened to the company. To cut it short, the company in a matter of 9 months increased the revenue by threefolds in 9 months. After 18 months, they increased the revenue by fivefolds. It was fun. It's something. It's not something you see very often. It was very, very unusual, and maybe because of the industry they were in or whatever. But it was interesting how they were almost like driving a car with a handbrake on, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yep.
And they didn't realize it until you put it down and say, "Oh, I can go faster now." Yes, you can. But also the company, what they were doing, the psychology, um, in fixing problems, gave them self confidence as a company to do more, to do more PR, to do more marketing, and so on, to be a bit bolder and to be more ambition. And that translated. It kind of changed their mindset in a way.
Okay, no, I think this is super, super, super powerful. And I think what you said, like the mindset, and as you see, like as you were just calling out right now, as they started to move to fix the right problem, but they maybe not even aware. It's like, oh, actually, when you take out that, there are other problems behind that now we can reach. I think that's great, and ultimately, it's taking out all the waste you were talking about. So no, I think that's super great, and I would love to keep continue speaking with you for 4 hours, but we are actually already at time, so we need to set up some other time to go through, let's say, all the other questions. I think that myself or the audience might have for you, and no, I think that was great. So I think last but not least, like real quick, I have really like curiosity that I want to ask you as a really like quick wrap up question is, what is an e-commerce activist?
Um, I'm thinking about greater now. um, okay, so first I would say it is being an activist is almost like a need and also a deliberate um, action. It's not who you are; it's what you do. It's an action thing. Okay. Um, um, so yeah, it's then I think it's also important to be involved with the industry and everything that creates the industry, the ecosystem, the partners, and everyone, and keep them honest. Okay, so that's one thing as well. Um, it also means to share knowledge and experience.
Cool. But I can say you do really well, and you have tons and tons of experience to share. That's why, like, I'm really looking forward to set
Thank
up
no,
something and continue the conversation.
and what you're doing now, it's an example of that. Is sharing knowledge and experience. And I think also even more important is to motivate others to do the same, to also care and share experience. So it's a mix of caring and sharing.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice way to say it. Okay, no, I think like thanks a lot, Ozzy, so for the international public. So thanks a lot. Been a real pleasure, like speaking with you as always. By the way, so looking forward actually to have you back here and actually continue our conversation because there are tons of questions that would be great to hear. To as you care, you can really see and share all the knowledge that you gain and keep on growing all over the years.
Thank you very much, Marco, for having me.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're keen to leave a review or subscribe, it helps more than you know. I hope to see you soon in the next episode. Stay tuned.